Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a chilling sequence of events from May 4th. We're reconstructing a violent, terrifying confrontation that happened just steps away from America's most iconic monument. Using newly released federal charging documents from the Justice Department, we're going to track the exact movements, the rapid-fire security response, and the severe legal fallout of a literal shootout right in the heart of the nation's capital. Let's get into it. I want you to picture a quiet spring afternoon on the National Mall. You know, it's a place usually packed with tourists, school groups, and families just soaking in the history of Washington, D.C. But on this specific day, that peaceful atmosphere was suddenly and violently shattered by the sound of gunfire. It's a scenario that honestly sounds like it belongs in a tense political thriller, right? But as the charging documents reveal, this was a terrifying reality. Section 1. Gunfire near the monument. The May 4th incident. Now, the timeline here is absolutely crucial. According to the reporting, at exactly 3:38 p.m., Vice President J.D. Vance's motorcade is departing the White House area. Just 120 seconds later, at 3:40 p.m., Secret Service agents near 15th Street and Madison Drive go on high alert. Why? Because an agent spots a man attempting to conceal a weapon on his right side. Think about that context for a second. You're in a highly secure zone, mere moments after a VIP motorcade passes by. A split-second observation like this, it triggers an immediate, massive response. Section 2. Minute-by-minute timeline, the confrontation. The escalation on the ground was incredibly rapid and lethal. When officers approached, the suspect didn't surrender. Instead, he ran. Moments later, he opened fire on law enforcement. Now, that bullet missed the officers, but it tragically struck a civilian bystander in the leg. Agents immediately returned fire to neutralize the active threat. They ended up striking the suspect 3 times, in the hand, the arm, and the upper abdomen. So, the really crucial point here isn't just about a breach of a high-security perimeter. As U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro highlighted, this is about the very real human toll. That civilian struck by the stray bullet, it was an innocent teenager. A family's vacation to see the monuments instantly turned into an absolute nightmare. It brings the reality of this violence right down to a personal level. We're not just talking about an attack on government agents. Everyday Americans were directly in the line of fire. Section 3. The suspect and charges. Inside the DOJ indictment. So, who is this guy? The Department of Justice identified the shooter as a 45-year-old Texas man named Michael Marks. But investigators immediately hit a major red flag. Marks had been operating under multiple aliases, like Patrick Gary Michael and Michael Zavasici. This adds a really thick layer of complexity to the whole investigation as authorities try to retrace exactly how a man carrying an illegal firearm traveled all the way from Texas straight to the perimeter of the White House. The charging documents also give us a really chilling glimpse into the suspect's state of mind right after the shootout. While he was recovering from his gunshot wounds under heavy guard in the hospital, the DOJ release alleges Marks made disparaging remarks about the White House. Not only that, he repeatedly asked law enforcement officers to kill him. This erratic, incredibly hostile behavior paints a pretty stark picture of exactly who the Secret Service was dealing with that afternoon. By May 29th, the Justice Department absolutely dropped the hammer. Marks was hit with 2 incredibly severe federal counts. The first one, using a deadly weapon to assault a law enforcement officer. That carries a maximum of 20 years. The second charge, discharging a firearm during a crime of violence, comes with a mandatory minimum of 10 years. So if convicted, this guy is looking at decades behind bars. They are definitely not taking this lightly. This quote from U.S. Attorney Pirro makes the government's zero-tolerance stance crystal clear. She noted that any threat near the heart of the administration's operations, especially right along a VIP motorcade route, will be met with the full, overwhelming weight of federal prosecution. They are pursuing this at every single step to send a definitive, undeniable message. Section 4. A trend of violence. Escalating threats in D.C. But to really grasp what's going on here, we can't look at May 4th in a vacuum. It's actually part of a deeply concerning escalating pattern. Just look at this timeline. In April, a man allegedly traveled from Los Angeles to D.C., plotting an attack on the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Then you have the May 4th shootout we've been talking about. And less than 3 weeks later, on May 23rd, Secret Service agents shot and killed another armed man who opened fire near the White House. That is an undeniable back-to-back concentration of severe security threats directed right at the administration. I want to leave you with this final, stark reaction from President Donald Trump given just days after that late May shooting. He essentially acknowledged this string of threats, noting that grave danger simply comes with the territory of being a consequential president. When you step back and look at the sheer volume of these highly dangerous incidents, all clustered together in just a matter of weeks, it really begs a difficult question. As political tensions continue to rise across the country, is this extreme level of danger, complete with daytime shootouts just steps from our most iconic monuments, simply the new unavoidable reality for the nation's capital?